What is up, YouTube? Tonight, we got a very special first guest. Hopefully have many more guests on tonight. I sent out a bunch of invite emails, but I got a very awesome and amazing package in the mail the other day. And in it were pieces of quasi-crystal, like models of quasi-crystals with certain ways that they fit together in combination with all these other shapes. And boy, are these things fun to play with, and they only fit together certain ways. And I've been dying to show these off since I got them, and I finally got permission from the maker to show them off. And I'm going to show you guys where you can buy the pieces so you can 3D print your own. You know, these faces, all these different, they only fit together certain ways, but you can see just the general, these are the two big shapes, and then there's a smaller shape like this. There's 4 different like distinct pieces, and they fit together in very weird ways to tile the whole plane. And it's going to be awesome when people can actually meet the guy who made these, and I'm going to bring him on right now. Simon, welcome. And we got in the background here is a website and a page where people can go and actually buy. They can download the models. They can pay to download the ones you made.
Yeah, so it comes both in STEP and STL files. So I made a version specifically for FDM. That's what Jeremy's holding. I do have the first resin prints of it in my hands right now. They're much smoother and nicer. It's arguable whether it's better or not, but the files are different because I hollowed out the resin ones and they have drainage holes in the holes where the magnets go. And that's really going to be the main cost other than the magnets themselves, because it does add up pretty fast. It's 4 magnets per face. The smallest one has 6, then it's 12, 20, and 30 side. So 30 is 120 magnets. So it's not a cheap project by any means. But if you're studying quasi-crystals, it's hard not to do better than,
Yeah, no, this is the best like conceptual model that you could use to if you wanted to study just the innate, have like a display model for your classroom. A professor would justify the investment, especially at some of these top universities where they have just millions of dollars to pay towards school props and stuff. I'm sure you can you should email this out to science departments and professors and math departments. I think this is going to be your top client for a teaching tool for the classroom for
in terms of production cost, so like I got was it 130 magnets for $10 Canadian. So like I said, it's not cheap, but you only have to make it once, and then it's good for ever as long as you don't shatter them. But they're pretty sturdy. Even the resin ones, they're pretty thick. So I don't think, unless you're like deliberately trying to break them, they should be pretty good to last. Ideally, you'd want them to all be different colors as illustrated there, but yeah, for the sake of expediency, they're all printed out of the same PLA, and you don't need anything fancy. If you want to use silk PLA, you'll probably be able to get away with it. I do recommend putting a little drop of glue either under or over the magnets just to keep them in place. Hypothetically, you could just spray paint them. It should be fine. So these are made for the 4 millimeter diameter by 2 millimeter thick model magnets. So they're very available. It's the stuff that you see all the time for like Warhammer or whatever models.
Heck yeah. So there's the Cults 3D. You can look up magnetic quasi crystals on thecults3d.com and get all the STLs and make your own. And what size neodymiums are these, and where do they buy those?
The 4 millimeter diameter by 2 millimeter thick. And just until the end of the month, as an introductory bonus, I'm giving it 25% off. So if you're an early bird, you get the little bonus.
So, like these D4 by 2 millimeter Amazon.
Yep, just
babies.
that kind of deal. Yeah, it doesn't need to be super strong. They hold together pretty well. As you keep adding more of them, they just keep interlocking, and because it really does not want to lock in if it's not the correct orientation, because there are 3 different faces. So there's one with an arrow, there's one with a line, and there's one with a triangle, and they can only mate with the same face. So if you try to mate them with the wrong one, they just won't, and they'll actually repel. And it's kind of fun. I had an experiment where I just put them all in a bin and I just shook it around, and it started forming really like large, complicated structures on its own. Basically, it's almost self-assembling. It's very addictive to play with. I'm half happy that it's in your hands now because I don't lose all my time playing with them.
I want all the different. I want the different colors, man. You got to have it because it's easier to visualize when they're all different colors. I think that is the key to them. This is a cool conceptual model just to show off for and I know you put a lot of time into this, but this is just the beginning. And I want to send this video to some toy companies so that they can check out this new product, and we can talk about getting these in the hands of professors in physics departments everywhere.
And just to be clear, I didn't invent it whole cloth. This is based off of some other things that people have made. There are some paper cutouts that you can make if you want. There's an injection molded one that was made many, many years ago, but it doesn't use magnets. It uses just little clasps that just grab onto each other. So it's not as satisfying because they'll just snap into place like on their own. As soon as you get it close, it just wants to hold on. So it's really satisfying, and it kind of mimics the way that I believe they function in real life as they're assembling.
Right. So this comes the puzzle piece then for people to build 1,000 of these and put them in a big tank and then shake it around and see what comes out. And just do a video of it.
The 6-sided one, these ones generally come in groups of 5 that you'll see in a little flower arrangement, either all the little triangles touching together or all the line pieces touching together. And then they are also used as like the in-between piece between the other ones, and they just kind of hold it all together. So these ones are kind of like the glue of the crystal. It's really fun to play with. I can't overstate how addictive they are.
Yeah, no, I can't tell you how much I was disappointed that they're not different colors and that I don't have 1,000 of them.
Well, I didn't want to paint them before I sent them to you, just because I was afraid that it was going to make the faces a little bit harder to read. But yeah, so I'll let you do that on your end, and you can choose whichever colors suit your mood. I don't know if you want them purple or whatever.
I'll paint them. Yeah.
If you want your Fedorov, I don't know, magenta or something, go for it.
I'm gonna go ahead. How much is the files? US $10.
Yeah, so like I said, it's 25% off just as an introductory bonus until the end of the month. So after that, it goes up to, what was it, almost 14 US? Yeah, so it's not that expensive, like in the totality of how much time and effort and materials go into it. So I'm just an independent guy. I'm not like some big mega corp, and this is really just an educational thing. So I'm not expecting to make too much money off of it. It's really just I hope people.
The hardest part you said in assembly is putting the actual magnets into the holes, right, in the right order.
If you have students or interns, yeah, get them to do it.
I would suggest that there's some kind of jig you could build with a detector on there that like an indicator that kind of just lets you know which polarity you got.
I might
You
make
could,
a little assembly jig where it's just the faces with one magnet, so you can just pop one in each and then just press it in with an arbor press or something. But until then, I'm doing it the stupid way and pressing them in one at a time.
so you can get
Uh,
this film. Arbor Scientific sells it. Probably the best stuff on the market. But if you put a magnet or anything magnetic up to the film, it kind of shows on the film. So you could cut little pieces. Cut a piece of this for just the face of the jig. That way, it will kind of tell you like by black or white whether you got like the north or magnetic field, and you kind of like have like a printout of what the arrangement is for the different.
I have a little magnetic pole detector. I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, so that's the South Pole, and it'll make a different noise if I put it at the North Pole with a little light.
Yeah, that takes too much time though
It's
for
like,
manufacturing. You know, if we whereas you're
oh yeah,
assembling.
yeah, yeah. Well,
If it
that's why you test the jig for assembly, and then yeah, I guess this would be good for just checking to see if the final assembly is good as a QC. But honestly, the way I just did is that I took two parts and I put them together, and if I don't have the magnets right, I'll feel it. Like just there's the tactile feel of one of them pushing back, or two of them pushing back, or three of them pushing back. You know, it really
yeah.
does not want to assemble wrong, and it's surprisingly strong.
Yeah, no, I can feel it when I'm playing around with it myself too. That they're definitely it wants to go only that way. And it's cool how some of them are like the lines aren't unidirection aren't directional, but the arrows and then the triangles ones that's different than the arrow. Those are both directional um facets. Even though every facet on there is a golden rhombus, it's the same shape. They have different matching rules. So
Yeah. And it
um,
tiles the volume perfectly with no voids, and that's really what's required for it to be considered a quasi crystal. So these things are super weird, which is why I made the models, which was not a fun task. These were a bit of a pain to make, to be honest.
yeah, the heart. I guess if that's what I'm saying, you build a jig that has this detector right in it. You can just throw them. You can assemble the magnet easier, and it might be helpful with robotics and AI. I mean, I'm sure that these other manufacturers over, if you could find a manufacturer to really mass produce these things, they're gonna figure out a way to you know, they're not gonna have kids in a factory somewhere,
Well, if
putting
anyone's interested
it.
in producing them commercially, definitely give me a call. Send me an email, something. Just
Yeah, what's your
contact
email?
me. Well, there's my Ko-fi that's linked in there. If you go to my, if you just scroll up on that page, or actually no, right there, click on Simon Claire, and it should have my Ko-fi on there.
Oh yeah, your contact. Whoops.
Yeah, yeah. If you click on the donate page there, that'll bring you to.
Contact.
Yeah, there you go.
Write your
Right.
message here. Right? Will you see this?
Yeah, you could send that, or you can click on the donate button there. That'll bring me to the Ko-fi, and that also has the page if you want to request some custom 3D models, because that is the thing I do.
Oh, I
Uh,
need to sign in. If I don't want to make a mess, how do we contact you by email?
SimonClaire@gmail.com. You can put that on the screen if you want, I guess.
Simon Claire.
Uh, yeah, no space.
You damn Canadians at Gmail.
Yeah. So if you want to contact me for the commercial thing, but no spam, please, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to make you throw it out there like
No,
that.
no worries. I just hope the audience is appreciative of the work. Like I said, it's
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna just spam you or mess with you on purpose. I hope not, because you're not involved in any of the other shenanigans we're gonna get into tonight. You're just a quasi crystal guy making 3D prints, trying to,
Yeah, I'm just trying to help people learn so that we can get more cool technologies and materials and stuff out of this, because ultimately that's what this is all for, so that we can have a less shitty world. And I hope people get into it. Like I said, I'm not planning on making a whole bunch of money off of this. That's why I just put a little thing like that. And I'm not going to put a patent on it or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Because I was like, "Good, are you sure you want me to show this off and open? This is a good idea, and you can, like, someone's gonna jump on this potentially." But I guess
I
it's
mean, there's a lot of people that are just going to be priced out if I do that. And if you're in, like, I don't know, Latin America or Eastern Europe or something, you're probably not going to have the funds to buy some fancy injection molded thing from, some small place. So if you can 3D print it yourself and you have the time to press in and glue all the magnets, then, go have at it. There's no reason that the amount of money that you currently have should hold you back.
Yeah, yeah, and especially these universities, that you got some of this wealth and stuff. Share it with the younger generation and get some cool toys, and this helps promote us and the channel. And I'm
That said,
sure
we
Simon's
call
gonna.
them toys, but just to be clear, these are not child safe. You don't want children playing with little tiny magnets that can get
No, no, no,
dislodged.
that could
And
fall
yeah,
out. This thing breaks, and the kids eat the magnets.
I
That'd be
did
bad.
soften all the corners, so as long as your prints are good quality, you shouldn't cut yourself or anything on them. But yeah, just to be sure, just putting it out there. Don't hand these to your
Yeah.
toddler.
Don't make them out of razor sharp metal, and give them to kids. Okay. Um,
We take seriously
that would be bad.
safety. It's very.
It's a very serious issue. I mean, your kids could get hurt and cut and swallow magnets and have their intestines pinned together and have to have
That's
really
right.
complex and difficult surgery to remove them. I mean, there's no like pill you can take for that. It's like, dude, there's magnets stuck together inside your intestines from two different sides.
So unless your kid is getting a PhD, it's probably not for them.
Yeah, really, yeah. Unless they're really advanced math.
Yeah, unless they're into like physics and engineering and stuff, and like basically already taking college courses. Yeah, no. Everybody matures differently, but
Yeah,
just
people
put it
like
out there.
it's kind of
If
a
they put
select
things
thing.
in their
Maybe like
mouth,
a
definitely
college
don't hand it to them.
crystallography course, a college crystals class.
Yeah.
But this
So
would be great for a project for Veritasium or one of these other big channels to make a million of these things and do
oh yeah,
the
oh
shape
yeah.
experiment.
I definitely think he would enjoy having these. I made these because you initially were talking about them, so ultimately blame Jeremy if you don't like these. Okay, it's his fault. um, but yeah, so
Did you actually build these from the 3D model that I got from Casey Handmer?
no. This is because you were talking a lot about quasi crystals and
So you
tiling
just
and
built
stuff.
these on your own?
Well, I think it's you that shared the PDF. I don't know if you want to show that.
Or the
Like I
STL?
mentioned earlier, the guy who was making the ones out of paper and the other injection molded ones. Yeah, so like I said, this is not whole cloth. This is all based on other things. All I did was I made it magnetic and 3D printed. So not huge departure, but I sent it to you via email in response to the invite. If you want to check it.
Guy on it wasn't the Paul Steinhardt. That's who it was. Yeah, Steinhardt. It's got all the geometries right here, and this document's got everything. The Paul Steinhardt is definitely the one. He shows like the math, the geometrical derivation and everything.
I think the one that I was looking at specifically is by Keith Enevoldson in 2021. Quasi crystal blocks, description and cut and fold instructions. So, like, if you're wondering where the symbols come from, they're just modifications of that one. Like the triangle is just on one side for the sake of not being in the way of the magnets.
Oh yeah. I remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what I based it off of. And again, it's just because you were talking a lot about quasicrystals, and it's very hard to describe if you don't have a physical model. And when you do have it, it just kind of snaps together in your head, same way that they
This
do.
is again Paul Steinhardt who worked with the guy for this too. So it's all Paul Steinhardt's the man. You know what? I would love to interview Paul. I should have sent him a CC on this. I didn't know that you'd be the only one jumping on so far. Um, I'm trying to get more guests, and it's going to be a live call-in show if none of the other guests jump on. I know Dan was out in the audience, and he was going to jump on here, and we were going to get into some UFOs shenanigans next because this is UFO state of UFOlogy night. But again, this is quasi-crystals is of course related to ufology because of Ed Fouché. Again, I don't know why I have this guy up. I was just catching up with Danny Jones's latest and some of that stuff. I could set a lot of this disinfo straight. The gist of this interview here was the idea, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the X-Files with nobody knows anything, right? I don't know, with this weird, they had this X-Files episode with this very strange character, and he talks about it in there where it's, I don't know, it's just this idea that they spread so much disinformation and they spread and they lie, and everyone's, all they have all these different people that are actually working for them to spread disinformation, and they're all in the public sphere calling each other disinformation agents, that nobody knows the truth anymore, and no one will ever be able to figure it out or know who to trust or anything ever again. And that's true to a certain extent, but we've really tried to use science here to separate all that stuff out. And one of the things is Ed Fouché in 1998 had this presentation. It's been shared a lot of other places, but again, the full 1998 presentation of Edgar Fouché on the TR3B. And this 1998 presentation has this talk of quasi-crystals in it. He says out at Area 51, he was introduced to quasi-crystals and that it was a big part of the research that they were doing out there. And he said, if you want to know how the UFOs fly and how they get from here to there, the warp machine ones, he said it's the quasi-crystals. And he said he wouldn't say anything more than that. And it's weird that, I found out about this stuff in early 2000s and made videos on it, which is crazy that I have like videos on my channel that are like 16 years old talking about quasi crystals when I was first learning about them.
Hey, the refraction patterns you get out of them are really gorgeous. I don't know if people really like look at that aspect much, but just as an art piece alone, it's worth looking at.
Well, the thing that's funny about them is that, Daniel Schechtman discovered them and has this whole started writing the papers on them early on, and the scientific community's response, the top scientists in the world, like at the time, commented, there are no such thing as quasi crystals, just quasi scientists.
Well, because they would never, poo poo an idea and then just quietly research it in the back themselves, right? They would never do that. That's never been a thing.
Right. Yeah, Linus Pauling, really. It just goes to show you what Linus Pauling was got to be involved in some kind of you think he was legitimate, just a stubborn scientist who was just, rejecting new ideas because he's just old and a crusty old curmudgeon, or you think there could be some kind of conspiracy there? um I don't know. They're Washington, Nobel Peace Prize Did get
If
the
there
Nobel
are,
Prize.
important practical uses for it, then yeah, they might do the whole, state secret thing just like they did with Manhattan Project.
It's possible. They might have came in and just said something to him about it, said like, listen, you can't do it. But then why did they let it leak out anyway? Because Dan Schechtman, of course, did his postdoc at Wright-Patterson. You look at his look at his history. He graduates with from Tel Aviv. No, he's born in Tel Aviv. He goes to Technion, Israel Institute of Technology. It's basically MIT of Israel. And here we have MIT on East Coast and Caltech on the West Coast, or like top technical schools in the country. Follow, well, not top, but they're the top in certain fields. There's different technical schools that do deal with different things, like but if you want to learn, obviously if you want to learn mining, right, you're going to go to New Mexico Tech rather than MIT or Caltech, right? Or if you want to get into certain technologies, you want to go to different
Well,
colleges. If you
Israel
want to
has
get,
a lot in like microcontrollers, right?
but
So,
Israel's got it all. I mean, Israel's top of the game. They're publishing tons of stuff. They have so much great stuff comes out of Israel, man, and the scientists there. You can't diss it. Despite all the bad, the bombing of children and killing of children and all the horrible things that go on in that country, you can't.
theocracy things.
It's the people that aren't, these guys aren't involved in all that. They're too busy doing real research and real science. You can't get the kind of results that these guys have gotten without dedicating your life to science.
Oh, actual scientists and engineers don't go in government generally.
Yeah, or military. They don't mess around with any of that stuff. So just because they're from Israel, or they were married in Israel, or born in Israel, or lived in Israel, doesn't mean that they are Mossad, and that they are intelligence, or any of these other affiliations. You
No,
have
not
to.
everybody is inherently compromised based off where they're from. It's the same with China, and not everybody from China is going to be a spy. Like let's
Right, or
yeah.
Russia.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Or like if I move to the U.S., you're not just going to assume I'm a Canadian spy, right? Or am I? No, I'm joking.
I
I'm joking.
know Trudeau up there, man. You never
Oh,
know.
thank God he's out. Just same as the old boss.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to even. Yeah, the whole thing with Canada too, because I just one of my favorite products that I use is made in Canada for my business and stuff. And it's like now, like with the tariffs, it's like what's going on here, man? The price on everything's just going to go up, continue to go up if we don't get that these issues fixed. And then if I go to Canada, I can't drink American whiskey anymore, and it's like, what am I going to do?
Well, I mean, at least we have Canadian whiskey, so you're not going to be completely up the creek.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go with some Grand Royale, right? Or uh,
Personally, it's the maple bourbon.
the maple syrup. There's one maple syrup one I had one time. It tasted like wet dog. I was like, never again. And I don't know.
Oh, well, I'm from Quebec, so we have
You
maple
get the good
everything.
stuff. You probably get the good stuff.
Oh yeah, we have the
Straight
good
from
stuff.
straight from the source. It's none of
I've
the
actually had sap straight from the tree. So yeah.
yeah. I like single malt Scotch and rye whiskey if I do occasionally partake. But yeah, it's been a while. It is my birthday soon, so maybe I will do that. Anyways, yeah, at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is where, at Aerospace Research Labs, Schechtman was an NRC fellow, right? The NRC is the National Research Council, which is basically an operating arm of 3 academies for the purpose of providing objective policy advice. Although separately chartered, it falls legally under the overall charter of the National Academy of Sciences, whose ultimate fiduciary body is the NAS Council, In actual practice, the NAS Council delegates governing authority to a governing board of the National Research Council that is chaired jointly by the presidents of the 3 academies. That's a whole lot of saying nothing. Come on, man. What is this written by machines? Dude, this is garbage. Division of Engineering and Physical Sciences, Health and Medical Division, Policy and Global Affairs Division, Transportation Research Board, and the Gulf Research Program. Okay, so there's 7 major divisions. This is interesting because NRC, which is really the NAS, which sounds a lot like NSA when you get into these acronyms, and I wonder if it's, of course, not corrected to what the NSA does. I don't know. That's
It's always alphabet soup.
comparison.
I mean, it's the same thing with everything in the U.S. Like how the U.S. military, everything is M1, M2, M3, M4. So you can
Right.
have an M1 with an M1 with an M1 with an M1 with an M1, and you don't know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess so. Just how they try to organize it to make it, easier, but it's just more crazy. Anyways,
I don't know. It seems deliberately complex to me.
Units of Division on Engineering and Physical Sciences. Okay, so they got an Air Force Studies Board, an Aeronautics and Space Engineering Board, the Board on Army. So we got to get all these boards on board, man. Where the heck are these boards? They got a Naval Studies Board, a Space Studies Board, Laboratory Assessments Board, National Materials and Manufacturing Board, Intelligence Community Studies Board, Computer Science and Telecommunications Board, Board on Physics and Astronomy, Board on Mathematical Sciences and Analytics, a Board on Infrastructure and Constructed Environment, the Constructed Environment. Okay, so just constructed. Okay, just any kind of, does that mean like construction, basically? Board on Energy and Environmental Systems. Wow, but there's some interesting studies that probably take place under these boards, engineering and physics. God, I wonder what, this is what we got to be FOIAing. Has anyone done FOIAs on this stuff and gone under this? There's got to be some kind of UFO or alien studies under one of these agencies. It's got to be another UFO program. We know that Elizondo didn't run the only one. And we now know that he didn't run one at all, that he just basically made up ATIP, and that the real program was this OSAP program, and that ATIP never existed. He literally manufactured and faked all the paperwork to prove that this agency existed, and then they tried pushing this whole threat narrative.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Man, he made it real big. He was on GQ and everything, but he definitely had a hidden hand and hidden push. And a lot of bad stuff has happened for Lou Elizondo this week. He has taken a real bad hit after finally after years and years of effort. We had the big phone home. Lou Angeles is in shambles right now. All the work he put in and dedication. He thought he was going to be a big UFO celebrity and have a big UFO channel, and make it big in this whole UFO disclosure game that was being led, and all the stuff that was going on in the field. Lou Elizondo was in the mix, and we were going to get these people in front of Congress so that we could get real UFO disclosure, right? And Lou finally, the point man of the supposed head of the Pentagon UFO program, the guy who knows all the stuff about all the stuff. And he's given several of these paid presentations. I went to one in Boston here, and on March 10th, and he was not impressive. Even to my wife said, I know more about UFOs than this guy has said. And that's not just because she hangs out with me, just from her
I think that
general
might help.
research, just from general research. But he presented this at another paid conference. He didn't, he presented a lot of crazy warp bubble stuff, Not a lot of real like hard physics or real based physics.
Nothing actionable,
Yeah, the
basically.
stuff in his book either was like really it was off base and a little bit wrong. And you know, this the kind of stuff that you'd expect from a guy who's just trying to fake it in a lot of this stuff. But then he gets in front of Congress, and he could have brought out so much stuff that he's probably collected over the years, or I don't know if he's just not smart enough to put it together. But why, the guy who's got has tons of pilots with videos and pictures and everything he's collected over the years. I mean, he collected this Adams project that he put together. We know that he collected all kinds of UFO materials, right? With the Adam project, they went around and collected metamaterials and pieces of UFOs. And Chris Bledsoe says that he took a piece of metamaterial off of him, and that he's never seen it or heard from it again. It just
Well, let
went
me
into
put it
a
this
black
way.
hole.
Actual whistleblowers, generally, they don't stay in the country. They leave. Because if they stay, they die. They don't get put on, daytime
So
television,
where are
on
these
Fox
guys?
News,
Yeah,
or on.
exactly. Well,
Yeah.
this is the best the intelligence. So that I mean, Lou Elizondo. Here's him with FBI agent Robert Mueller. Okay, why is he with the head of the FBI who basically covered up 9/11? And then we find out from Lou Elizondo's past that Lou was head of the Pentagon. Yeah, you have to be careful what you say, Lou. There might be a lot of charges soon against you. This is crazy what's found what came out in the last week. I mean, it was in his book Imminent, right? Um, we know that from his book Imminent, he was part of this RDI program, which is the Enhanced Interrogation Program at Guantanamo Bay. And they have this at Guantanamo Bay because it has the lax laws on torture of any country in the world, right? And so they brought them there, and they have this whole program at Guantanamo for that reason. And they bring in this guy. Where does Lou and who is Lou and how did he get into this whole operation? We come to find out is that, well, Lou's father was in the Bay of Pigs invasion and like worked for the CIA in Cuba as like an anti-Castro like operative, as like this clandestine operative. And Lou grew up in this military environment where he could be called into like war and duty at any time, because of who his dad was. They might have to like run or move around. And that's the kind of like military upbringing that he had. And so he went into the military himself when he came of age. And they put him in charge of some really interesting stuff that we still don't really quite know about. He moved around a lot, did a lot of intelligence operations, and then, before 9/11, he disappeared for 3 years, and there's no record of what he did and anywhere on his resume or what went on. And then after 9/11, he was moved to work on bioterrorism stuff, like bio warfare kind of stuff.
Wasn't
And then
that during the anthrax scare?
during the anthrax scare, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember that was all over the news. They wouldn't stop talking about it at the time.
so that was covered up. They covered up that the anthrax was made at a U.S. lab by U.S. scientists and given to senators in order to scare them off a new investigation, which the Bush administration then postponed for like 441 days before they actually started an investigation after 9/11. It was like over a year after which they actually started to investigate it after they had already sent the Afghanistan invasion and started wars over it. Did they decide that we're going to actually, have an investigation into what happened and all this stuff? And so Lou gets put in charge of these five detainees that they've captured who are related to this Al Qaeda cell that they say are responsible for 9/11. And they need confessions out of these five guys. So they put Lou in charge with this enhanced interrogation program, and they hooked him up with Hal Puthoff and got a bunch of these like psychotronic weapons. And basically, he tortured, these people at Guantanamo with these weapons until the point that they gave confessions. They did a lot of
Because
other.
torture is definitely how you get confessions, like legitimate confessions.
Yeah, they
Definitely
did it.
not
So
fabricated
now,
ones.
so now we totally know that those guys were responsible for 9/11 because Lou said so, and Lou's work got the truth out of them, right? And we can totally trust Lou with that. And then they selected him because of such good work for the country. They needed someone who, with his kind of background to look into UFOs for them, right? And so this is the guy that they then put in charge of the head of the UFO program for the government for a number of years. And then he's now the guy to bring out the truth to us publicly, and that's who that's who we're now finding out Lou Elizondo is, behind the mask, behind all the bravado and the I was in the war and fought to hold General Mathis down in Iraq. No, you were doing counter and a lot of other shady stuff, including torturing people, human beings, and the weapons that you're now using on the American people, and what you've done here is in violation of the Geneva Convention. It's in violation of several laws and acts. And
It's actually pretty easy to counter, though. Well, all you need is a cube corner reflector, and you can make that with 3 sheets of aluminum or sheet metal, whatever, as long as it's conductive, that you weld at a 90-degree angle from each other. And then you just point the opening towards whatever the source is, and they get to fry themselves.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, those weapons, the psychotronic weapons and stuff.
Yeah, if it's a maser, all you need is 3 sheets of metal. Actually, you could do it with one that's cut and bent properly, but realistically, if you have 3, it's
I
just
shouldn't. Yeah, if I just have one of those, I'll carry it in my back. I'll carry it on my back everywhere.
As long as the opening is larger than the wavelength of the weapon being used, then you should be good. So you just need a really, really big suit of armor.
Right? I'll just wear it to work every day. They won't think I'm weird or nothing.
A giant tower shield or something. I don't know.
Oh man, they already think I'm weird enough with my Gandalf hat talking about freaking UFOs. What's
Silly
up,
hats
audience?
only.
What's up, live chat? Anyone want to jump on here with me and Simon? It's now time. It's 4. I want to stop at the top of the hour, so we got 15 minutes left. Anyone wants to jump in? I'm going to officially drop the link for the StreamYard. Dropping the link for the StreamYard. Here it goes, guys. Oh my God. Do not have a microphone and a picture, and you're going to prove that you're not a bot.
Well, the chat is asking about the corner reflector. Could you just pop a YouTube video of a cube corner reflector? Because it's really not that complicated technology. You can make it.
Yeah, what is this cube corner reflector?
So this is, well, it's a retro reflector. So it's the same kind of thing that they put on the moon, where you can shine a laser on the surface, measure the amount of time it takes for the laser to travel there and back, and then say, okay, well, if light's traveling this speed, then it's this distance away from us at this moment. So you can make one for microwaves just with any conductive metal. So if you have aluminum or stainless steel or something, you should be able to just assemble it.
Well, I'm going to try to share this with audio. This explain what it is, or is this kit?
So that's an optical one, but it functions the same way, because ultimately, microwaves are just light outside of a frequency they can see.
So this is a cube corner reflector with
So if you do
metal.
microwave, you should be able to get a good. Yeah, I see it right at the top there. Give me a second.
All right.
Yeah, so this is with light, so it's a little bit easier to illustrate.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN.
It works with.
If you look up close at a bicycle reflector, you'll see this sort of hexagonal pattern,
Oh,
but
yeah,
it
these
warps
things,
and
yeah.
changes into other things
Very
as
cool.
you tilt it. And there's a really clever reason for the geometry that you see here. The purpose of a bicycle reflector is to make you more visible to car drivers. And one way to do that passively is to reflect more of the light that falls upon you. And if that's what you're trying to do, then maybe just cover yourself in lots of tiny mirrors, like a human mirror ball, because mirrors are really reflective. The problem is, mirrors work in this really predictable way. The angle of incidence always equals the angle of reflection. In other words, you don't have much control over where the reflected light goes. What you really want is for most of the light being reflected off you to end up in the eyes of the car driver. So how do you achieve that? Well, if you take two hinged mirrors and set them at 90 degrees to each other like this, or a quarter tau radians, then when I shine a laser into these two mirrors, the returning beam is always at exactly the same angle as the incoming beam. It doesn't matter how I change the angle of the incoming laser beam.
Brilliant.
The outgoing beam will always match that angle. I could put together a geometric proof to show that it's always true for any angle, or for the purposes of this video, I could just do what I like to call a proof by, look, there you go,
There you
doing
go.
it.
Isn't it?
You may have spotted that this only really works in two
Experiments are
dimensions,
so
because
much
look,
easier
if I tilt the laser
just trying to
pointer
Yeah, but
explain.
where's
in
your
this
proof,
direction,
man?
actually
on
it
now.
doesn't
My
work
proof, my
anymore.
proof.
The returning laser beam is not at the same angle as the incoming laser beam.
There might be
To
one
fix it
angle.
for this extra dimension, I need a third mirror that is perpendicular to the first two, like this. And see, now it doesn't matter what angle I point the laser at these three mirrors, it will always come out at the same angle that it went in. This geometry that you end up with is the corner of a cube. See, so this is called a corner cube reflector, and it's an example of a retroreflector, which is just any reflector that sends light back in the same direction that it came from. And you can achieve this with a prism as well, like this. So light goes in through that front surface, and the rear surface has these three perpendicular faces. It's the corner of a cube. So the light that comes in bounces around on those three surfaces, comes back out in the same direction that it went in. On this prism, those three back surfaces have been coated with copper to make it more reflective, but it would mostly work just by total internal reflection. And that's the working principle behind bicycle reflectors. I've taken the back off this one so you can see what's going on the underside. Actually, it's still not that easy to understand through the camera, but look, if I spray paint it, hopefully that makes it a bit clearer. Can you see all those spikes in the shape of the corner of a cube? So it's just like the backside of this thing, except it's tessellated to fill up the space. We've actually put reflectors like this on the surface of the moon, and we use the travel time of laser light to figure out how far away it is. Like, is it slowly creeping up on us in the daytime? It's
Okay,
behind
those
me, isn't
are
it?
actually cones on the
So
moon.
think about the light
not
coming from the
pyramids,
headlamps of a
but, you know.
car. It shines.
Yeah, we've talked about the moon experiment. Measure distance to the moon. They use the laser the lunar reflector.
Yeah, so that one, instead of using the cube's corner, it uses a cone, but ultimately it's the same thing.
Where's the lunar reflector?
Did you hear it, Jeremy, saying about how they say it may move, that they measure to see if it moves during the day? Like something's operating it.
The
yeah. So this
That's
was
what I got. That's what I got out of what he was saying.
well, the orbit is elliptical, so it does change distance pretty dramatically, which is why you get what's called a supermoon, where it looks bigger because it's just physically closer.
Smollen.
Oh, I understand that. It was the way he said that. He said that it seemed
I mean,
ominous.
he's just joking. He's British, so
Oh,
he's going
okay.
to have a weird sense of humor.
So Smollen.
Well, you have to have a weird sense of humor to be in the shit we're in. So
this guy.
I don't know how you remember all these names just off the top of your head. I just gotta say, I don't know how you do it. I forget everything.
Giorgio Fiocco. These guys built this tray, which of course this is a human footprint in regards to this tray. It was a big part of the lunar missions to put this reflector out and then get it calibrated and pointed directly at the Earth, so it would shine at the Earth, like towards the Earth. Well, it didn't really have to get it calibrated because I guess it's going to reflect it back no matter what angle you shine at this thing. So all they need to do is hit this with the laser beam from pretty much any angle, and it's gonna send a signal back, right?
I used to be skeptical of that, and then they went to Hawaii and did it, and it was proven that the thing it came right back. It was it was absolutely amazing. I don't know if you ever seen that. I forget what television show that was, but it came right back. It was absolutely amazing. Couldn't believe it.
You need a really strong laser to do it, though.
Yeah.
You need
Oh,
really clean, straight beam, because like the lasers that we use for laser cutters, for instance, it's not actually a cylinder. It's more like two cones that are touching tips, and we cut with the specific point where it's touching.
Biggest thing is light pollution too. You've got to have a clear sky, and these places in Hawaii, the ocean is above where they fly out there, so you don't have light pollution coming up from buildings in New York and all that stuff like that. You have just pure, nice, clean, dark. I don't know. It's not even light, and you just shine that laser beam over there, and it comes back. They move it a little bit; it'll move another way.
Could you imagine getting?
I was blown away because I thought it was bullshit. I'll be honest with you. I was one of the moon deniers for a long time. I really was.
The moon denier. All right, we got some other.
Hey there.
Aaron Earthling and Jeremiah just joined the open chat. What is up, guys?
Oh, that Jeremiah guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
How you doing, bro?
Good, buddy. Where's he at? Oh, there he is. Hey, Jeremiah.
So what are we on right now? Sorry, we just got off the other stream.
Simon C.
We were on these reflectors and talking about the types of reflectors with how the three mirrors and the optics.
Oh, the phase conjugate reflectors?
We're on a bit of a material tangent.
Oh, sweet. Yes. The phase conjugate mirrors. Those are fascinating.
Yeah, so it's the same idea.
Wouldn't you think the sun have had an effect on those after all these years, though? Or is that not something?
No, well, that's because it's phase conjugation, right? Like it's actually reflecting the proper reflection. So, it's like the best example was when Jeremy showed that example with the laser, right? Like with the imaging thing. Yeah, the hologram thing. Yeah, that was great. Like it literally straightened out all the photons so that it would look like a perfect image. Yeah, like it's built into its construct. It's fascinating. It's like a default in its own design.
It's beyond fascinating because it's proof we were there or somebody was there and put it there.
It's true.
Yeah,
maybe another. Wouldn't that be something if it came out that another spaceship put it there and they pretend we put it there, and they dropped it? They dropped the the landing module at like, I don't know, 50,000 feet, and then just went out and picked it up out in the ocean in a boat. I mean, it could have been faked easily, but if we had spaceship technology back then, which some say we do, some say we don't.
Then maybe some say the Nazis had it and that they moved to Argentina and Hitler lived down there and developed it out
make sure you send Jeremiah a link, because
I'm doing that right now. I'm emailing it to him.
Yeah, because I think he might have got dropped.
No, he's got the link. If he got here, he's got the link.
No, yeah, that was because of
his phone. I'm emailing it to him so he can join from his computer.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Well, the idea again, this is the idea behind the phase conjugate mirror too. Is exactly what you said. Is this on the quantum level? It's like three mirrors at 90-degree angles, so like a million of them that are all reflecting the image back. That's kind of
a perfect image instead of a reverse image.
Right.
Like you can actually read the label on your shirt instead of having it in reverse.
And Jeremy, what would you always use, a laser to to get your reflection straight.
Oh wait, okay. I'm gonna show this this video.
Yeah, this is the best one. I love it.
Oh, this one's great.
Hello.
We can't hear it, Jeremy, or at least I can't.
It's just music playing. It's no like. It's just violin music playing. You can't really hear anything anyway. It's not like there's a talk or a description. So here they're just showing that there's the beams in focus right there. It comes down to a point, right? And then it goes back again. So you're finding that focal point at the smallest point is the focal point of where that beam reverses.
Oh, wow.
So they put a splitter here, right here at that focal point, and the splitter sends one image in this direction, and then one back here, and then they show like the fog glass around this, and then they use the crystal of the barium titanate, which the barium titanate on the quantum level looks like a whole bunch of these cubes. And it looks like a sheet array of that kind of reflector. So it forms a phase conjugate mirror, which gives true reflection on the frequencies of the barium titanate crystal, which is shown in this green.
What's cool though is that it takes a while for the image to actually become clear. It's not instant.
Yeah,
that's what fascinates me.
It's like quantum resolution because it has to reflect back through all the crystals. Like it has to basically like find the path through the fog.
It's almost like a form of discernment
or consciousness. I mean, I don't know.
Well, isn't that discernment?
Who is that face?
That's Van Gogh, isn't it?
Yes, it's Van Gogh.
Is that Van Gogh? Oh my God!
No.
That's fascinating as hell. If you ask me.
If he always had that one face turn, that ear turned, yeah, it's his right ear that he cut off, so that's to the back.
That's a cat or some type of jungle cat.
I think
it's a kitty cat. Yeah.
I think they used Van Gogh because it's an artist. It shows the artistry, and it also is left and right handed. It's chiral because of the ear thing. One of his ears was cut off. That's a good. That's a good catch.
Oh, okay.
Good catch.
Really cool stuff, man.
The end. But yeah, that was 2015. They've been researching this stuff probably a lot longer than that. Super interesting stuff. UFO Twitter. Twitter is just a mess right now. Anyways, I got my account back for one day, and then they rebanned it.
You got back for one day, and they splashed it by 50% of your followers.
I don't mean to laugh, but that's just typical.
But they didn't
Jeremy, remember when you and me were banded Jeremy, when you and me were banded at the same time, it was my first day on the damn thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
What do I have to do to get it back? What do I have to do to get it back?
I think Jeremy Corbell and some of these other people own Twitter. The thing is, I had this Hover Brothers account from when I did the Hover Brothers thing. That I use sometimes. I had this main account, my main alien scientist account, which was my brand account, right? And I've had a couple other Jeremy accounts over the years just because I've forgotten passwords on a few of them.
Yeah.
But the alien scientist account is different than my personal account. But what they blamed the alien scientist account for was they said that I got my account back. They restored it. They said I just have to remove that comment, the one comment that triggered it, and it was something about a little inappropriate, but man, these guys were like these guys were trained psychological warfare people that are behind
absolutely.
and they went after me hard, man. Like you don't understand the things that they do to you.
Tipped me off immediately, didn't they? Just for associating with you.
They get in on your head, they get in your personality, and they just fuck with you constantly. There's one guy, I have to ban him. He creates a new account. He goes on everything I post and just floods it with the same bullshit. And then I ban him, and he creates a new account and a new account, and they just follow me around and just it's constantly. So if I get any traction on any other post, they come in and shut it down. It's like there's a team.
The opposite of love
Who's running it? Who's running X now? Is Musk running it, or does he have somebody else running it for him?
It's not Musk that's in charge of this. And you know what? When I got my account back, I made a comment praising Musk about, and Twitter as being a free speech, haven. I made a comment just like thanking them for, restoring my account, just because I was like really worried that, that there is kind of like this bad censorship going on the platform. So I made that comment just as like, wow, they restored my account. They really did. And immediately someone went and reported me because they're like, oh, well, this guy created another account when he was banned. And it's like, no, that's my brand account. You banned my brand account. You can't just ban my personal account from the platform too and say that like, oh, you created another account to stay unbanned. It's like, no, I've had other accounts on this platform, and it's like,
it's freedom of freedom of self-determination. It's just they're taking it away, dude. It's freedom of speech, and it's unbelievable what's happening right now. I can't understand it.
You can always say that you foresaw the future and you created plan B, plan C, plan D for yourself because as an analyst of politics, science, and that kind of stuff.
I wonder if the CIA didn't hire a person to become an expert in Twitter rules and Twitter law, just so they can, use those regulations to be like, oh, well, technically, according to Rule 17, Chapter 5.
We have feedback.
Hey,
yeah, we're hearing pseudo echo on the new dude.
Yeah, I took him off. David,
where's what's going on with Alex Jones on X? He's on there a lot lately. I wanted to ask you, first of all, what happened to InfoWars? Because I know they shut it down, right? It's been shut down, right? But he still calls himself.
He got it back. They tried hijacking it, but no, he's still in control of it, apparently.
So you can still turn it on at 11 in the morning. He's on.
Oh, there's Jeremiah.
Welcome back, Jeremiah.
Yo,
he's still turning. He's turning Alex Jones on at 11, 12 in the morning, and he's in there depending on what time zone you're on.
Say what?
I do have to laugh with Antoon Flux. Every one of his broadcasts is now an emergency broadcast.
Listen to me, man. I'm being serious. Listen, on InfoWars, if you're in his time zone, you're on. He comes at 11. If you're on my time zone, he's East Coast. He comes on at noon. Okay. If you go to InfoWars, is there anything there? Because he's always on X. He simulcasts on X, so he's got to be coming from somewhere.
This is InfoWars right now.
I can't get on X. I can't get on it. It won't let me on it because that thing happened between me and Jeremy the first time I ever tried to get on. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Well,
they got
some people. Can you guys pardon for it? Like, can you guys not send a message somehow, like even written, to them and be like, hey, what's going on here? We're just freedom of speech. What's going on?
This is no lie. Ask Jeremy. I can't.
Bro,
he was wrong with me when this happened.
I don't understand how I get banned. Half of Twitter is people saying that the Jews did JFK, 9/11, and UFOs, and it's with space lasers, and and I can't even voice.
There's that in piece.
And this whole thing was over the comment I made was over vaccines and the whole vaccine thing, which is another crazy thing. And the InfoWars, you got to see like what's going on with RFK now. they've put a bunch of money into these research studies into the cause of autism, and he said, I'm going to have an answer for the why autism is so prevalent in children now by October. And apparently the money he spent is looked into, like, it looks like the studies that I've seen so far and the money that's going into it is looking for environmental causes.
Yeah, like the outdoor particulates and indoor particulates, right?
They're saying outdoor particulates, nanoparticulates, also the glyphosate.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Sorry,
okay, glyphosate. Yeah, the glyphosate within the because they genetically modified the plants to take in glyphosate.
So one of these,
by the way, which
like
people who don't know, like, hold on, this is most important. It was called boiler cleaner back in the 50s.
Boiler cleaner?
Yes, boiler cleaner in the 50s. And when it lost its patent royalties, they changed it.
Well, the glyphosate would definitely be a huge one. If you know that's in the crops, it's in so much stuff.
Why are they feeding us boiler cleaner?
But I guess it's like, you know, they can't. There was aluminum and mercury in the vaccines, and then the antagonists that were in the vaccines that would antagonize that meant to antagonize your immune system and all that stuff. I think that there's a lot of combination of these things which led to you know, cases, but again, they're not gonna go after the vaccine companies. The vaccine companies are probably not. I don't know. Are they? Do you think that they're gonna allow the vaccine companies to be held liable?
I want you to imagine a commercial on TV saying, "If you or someone you know has ever been vaccinated."
Yeah.
It would be everybody. It would be everybody.
They'd have to take everything down. You know, it's like Monsanto. It's easier devil to blame because they've been blamed for all these like atrocities over the years. They're probably just gonna be like, oh, it's Monsanto's fault for, you know, making this. You know, they're the ones.
Well, yeah, but do you remember like back when the pandemic first happened? I watched it since right at December. In 2019, and I remember Bill Gates buying the vaccine off of China.
Oh man. No, anyways, I didn't mean to derail the discussion.
Yeah, okay, right. Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, that's let's
we'll get into before we go, you and me were going to talk about something, man. And it was pretty cool or pretty important. What was it? We were going to talk about something, remember? When you and I were on the phone earlier today. There was something we were going to talk about, and it wasn't fucking vaccines and shit like that. And
well, yeah, there's other political stuff going on. So,
you're going to get your title back.
Let's talk about the new pope. Let's talk about the new pope. Let's talk about the new pope. Yeah.
I could talk about the.
Sure, he's an alien.
I'd rather talk about abortion than that.
He's an American pope. He's got some ties to Peru, I guess.
Oh, there's a new one already?
There was questions on have you seen the new supposed leak or whistleblower about the Tic Tac? And there was like the 4chan and then another leak there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But Dick Cheney has been elected pope.
What?
And yes, the deep state is full control now.
Imagine if your name had Dick. Imagine your dick had chains around it. I mean, that must suck.
What are the odds that JD Vance went there?
Who's the guy that played Dick Cheney in the movie Dick Cheney? I think this guy would be a better actor. Honestly, he looks.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, you know, Dick Cheney's got to be almost 90 years old. Jeremy, look his fucking age up. All these people live so long.
Yeah, like he's like the new Henry Kissinger, man.
And then they fake their death, and then they go to live somewhere else. I don't know where, but that is exactly what I don't give a shit what anybody says.
The reptilians.
But seriously, what are the odds? What are the odds that JD Vance, visited the previous pope within hours of his death, and then an American pope gets?
Because he had something on his skin that he shook his hand with, and it killed him.
I thought the same thing.
I mean, he was also pretty old. and not in great health. So
that was the way they tried. They tried to kill the Pope that way in a movie, and I'm trying to think of which movie it was. I think it was one of the Godfathers, or like all you got to do is touch him with this, and he'll be dead within
movie
seconds.
that North Korea really didn't like.
Yeah, the North Korea movie. Yeah.
Well, Kim Jong Un did it to his brother, so
yeah, that's the one.
The interview. What is that about? Who's in that? I know that movie.
Yeah, that had Seth Rogen and
yeah, they threatened. Yeah, Kim Jong Un threatened to kill both of them if they made that movie. Yeah. Rocket Man. Then Rocket Man all of a sudden decided that he loved Trump and all this stuff and wanted to be just like him. Rocket Man. That was so funny when he called him that. Trump is funny at times. Trump seems more laid back this term so far. What do you guys think?
Well, he understands what happened. So, like, I was just watching a recent video on Xing, and he was explaining how he was going to have dominance over America by 2027. And he claimed that because what they have is they have 250 boat yards, and we have about 3 or 4 in total with Canada and the United States. And
okay, and you can take it out with a tiny drone. That's the thing. Like, it's the same thing as
push out as many boats as they want.
Like, if you have tanks that are $3 million and they're taken out with a $2,000 drone, then economically, who's going to collapse first?
Yeah,
it's the same thing as every RTS.
But you have to understand too, like, where are we? Like, for example, like if we are investing our money into 7th gen tech, like space and time tech, right? If we are invested into that now, and that's all we're spending our money on, then that's understandable why we haven't kept up with China. But
we have new technologies they don't know about.
Maybe
the thing they should. A thing today was shown on the news. China's if you type in right now, China's warship building rate compared to the United States shipbuilding rate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 1,000 to 1.
Yeah, it's
that was scary.
Yeah, they claim that they make 250 ships a day compared to Canada.
I think they do because they control the steel industry now.
So you know that the UK has no steel now? None, zero.
That's because just like Canada and the United States, we all sold our scrap to China, and guess what happened? They went and whipped their scrap up, in order to create recycling properly. And look at all the metal they have.
If any of you have ever welded in the past 10 years,
my bad. Sorry.
Have any of you ever welded in the past 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have Chinese steel, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. And you have the United States recycled steel. Okay. And I will say this. The Chinese recycled steel that they sell to the United States is the worst garbage you ever welded on in your life. Now listen to me.
Yeah,
the steel we had gotten from the steel we had gotten from China, welded like the old United States steel from Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Where I live in PA.
It's scrap metal, right? That's been recycled, right? It's all recycled.
Jeremy, if there's contaminants in it, cracks, it's tensile strength is shit. You know what tensile strength is, right? It's tensile strength's terrible. There's nothing about it to brag about at all.
So the guys
motorcycle frames have been breaking going down the highway due to the fact that they hit a bump and they form a crack, and that crack goes on and on and on and on. And then boom, it's I mean, listen.
I could tell you why.
U.S. Steel's done.
You know what happened? So what happened was, like, from what I actually heard, is that the Chinese were actually trying to mix aluminum with the steel, and that's what fucked everything up. That's why you find Chinese
one's ferrous and one's
Chinese and all this
non-ferrous.
stuff.
Well, this is an educational
I don't
and
even see
very
how that's
interesting
possible.
detour on steel. But yeah, the whole let's get back on topic, Dan, with some. How does this relate to UFOs? And you know, they're not building UFOs out of Chinese steel.
Okay, well, let's get back to UFOs. Let's get back to the. Well, I think we got into it because of.
I want to talk about Pam Bondi. I want to talk about these chicks. Who are,
I love girls.
I want to talk about this Luna chick, and I want to talk about this Pam Bondi chick. Who's clearly some kind of PR face for the Justice Department now.
Why do people not like her?
You want to do a dive on the drive?
No one's been arrested, man. None of the deep state. Where's Pam Bondi and Cash Patel? Did they like tie Cash Patel's hands as soon as he got in there?
Epstein list.
Yeah, the Epstein list
cases
take. They're literally
a long time to put together, Jeremy.
Yeah, all right. So when when it comes down to Mossad,
they're afraid of arresting Bill Gates, because Bill Gates is definitely on that list. His wife,
and he owns Windows.
He probably has like dead man switches up the wazoo.
Oh yeah, think about it. He owns Windows, so every single Windows dead man switch has this guy's fucking profile right all over it. You know what I mean? Like,
he's the devil. He's kind of diabolical bastard he'd just be like, all right, none of your.
You can kill two birds with one stone with him. You can have Bigfoot kill him. Say, oh my God, we discovered Bigfoot. Right?
You know, some things I see okay, but the rest of it I just don't understand.
Man, you can't. This guy is like, these guys have so much money. It's not a surprise they haven't. There's no takedown. There's no accountability. You know what's really messed up is that you have Anna Paulina Luna posing with Elizondo and taking this guy on to the UAP task forces. If these other guys got to know. I don't know if Chris Mellon, he was the head of the Area 51, and just to be bringing these guys in and putting them in charge of the whole UFO operation, it's like these guys are not in charge of disclose. This is controlled like disclosure from the inside. These guys are like
Brissett, Brissett. I forget how you guys say his name. Anyways, it's Brissett.
Bird
no, it's French. It's Brissette.
He wants to know the truth, at least.
But anyways, yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Thank you, Simon. You're way better than I could do it. Way better. But anyways, yeah. So he's the guy you want to talk to because he actually has a mentality to him. He has an actual like, okay, is this going to better humanity or not? But he has to be taught. That's the difference. That guy needs to be taught. It needs to be taught properly.
He needs to come over here and get high with me and hang out for a couple days.
No, come on, that's definitely not a good idea.
Not the way to coax them.
We know how you guys party. Anyway.
Oh, I forgot to go to work for 15 days. I thought I was on workers' comp.
That's what
no, your buddy is. This really happened about a month ago. A friend of mine. This really happened. I've been off because I need surgery. This guy stayed partying. We stayed partying at his house for 19 days and never called in or anything. They finally called him and I answered the phone, handed it to him, and he told them to go F themselves. Not once, but 3 times. They fired him.
What about the guy that killed his wife and on heroin? And
that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's no good.
There's problems, dude.
He OD'd her accidentally because 2 things looked like I was not there. This happened. I hadn't even talked to the fucking guy in months and months and months. And I heard something had happened and I called. and he was falling all over the floor at work and doing all kinds of weird stuff. And then here,
all right, let's get back on topic, man. Hey, come on, Dan.
Let's get back to
come on, Dan. We're gonna have the brain damage, guys.
Mute your mics, guys. I want to like set the pace here. Luna is definitely, you know, she's like, I guess some people are saying, oh, she was some stripper that got into politics and kind of like a Republican AOC. She doesn't really know what's going on. She's still learning the field. And Burchett's the more common sense kind of guy. You know, of course, he's gotten taken in by some of this this counterintelligence agent who's gotten into the mix. But I think he exposed himself at that hearing because he's got to have better intelligence, better insights, better. You know, this guy's not a stupid individual, but he plays dumb. When it comes time to give business and get down to business, he plays stupid. But when it's time to play around and fuck around on podcasts, he plays friggin', you know, I'm the friggin' king shit. I'm gonna you know, bring disclosure out, and I'm a whistleblower, and you know,
we need to literally be like, all right, come on here, and then we all like look at him like we're gonna analyze you, motherfucker.
He would never do it. If he did, man, it'd be bad, because especially when I'm calling for his arrest and all that shit, man. That's
really
I think that's, no, I'm calling for Lou Elizondo.
Oh yeah, that guy.
I called Tim Burchett's office and told him, like, I called Luna's office and I called Tim Burchett's office, and I said, this guy's a trained. You know, I said his dad was in the Bay of Pigs.
But don't you remember? Actually, Burchett even mentioned, he's just like, we know that there's a couple people who are actually in this part that are actually playing the false, right? Remember?
Yes. He's talking about.
I'm totally paraphrasing horribly, but I mean, like,
he's talking about Lou and Jeremy. Lou and Jeremy are like one and the same. They're kind of like you know, Mo, Larry, and Curly. In the stooges of UFOlogy that have taken over just since 2017. You know, we were talking, me and Dan and Michael Stratt and some of these other guys were talking about how, like, you know, you got Dolan, you got Jimmy Church, and you got like a couple of these other guys that you had that are the old schoolers that were around back then. But really, UFOlogy was like dead in 2016. Like, we didn't know where it was going to go. I almost like was ready to retire from the field and like not even bother with it anymore. And then all of a sudden, like, this New York Times article and you know, Ralph Blumenthal and this Elizondo thing, we were talking about, like, we were set to take over the field too. We were talking about like doing this. We were doing the UFO road trips. And you know,
dude, actually, you know, the most important person I think you've ever mentioned ever on your channel was Frank Sidarsik. Because Frank Sidarsik, his math matches Nikola Tesla's one wire, one antenna system.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah,
that's
100%.
interesting.
It literally, when you're in that system of the analog antenna, you are literally under control of the like the filament. He said it vibrated, and like I believe it was Bob Greener who mentioned that it reacted like cold neutrino. He called it cold neutrino light, and like it everything matched it. And I was like,
well, Frank worked directly.
I can actually add some experimental data to that little side note there. Because when I was running my large version Tiny Titan circuit, which is just like this uber powerful self-tuning Tesla driver circuit, that it runs kind of like a ZVS, but it uses idealized components for specifically high frequency and takes advantage of the millicapacitance of MOSFET gates. But anyways, I ran that thing and hooked it up to a true vacuum bulb. It was a 40-watt appliance bulb. And the filament on the inside of that thing, you could see it just trying to like escape. It would fling itself out and stretch out. And you know, the filament is a springy wound thing, so it does have a bit of give. And if you like bounce the ball around, you can see the filament kind of swinging around like a wire, you know, between 2 points. But anyways, yeah, the filament is suspended by 5 individual steel loop rings, and it got stretched out all the way towards the edges and was producing a bunch of radiation as well. So that's again, one of those signatures. And then if you place a piece of foil or anything like that's hanging from a string near it, it'll attract it. Paper, it'll attract it. But if you feel it with your hand while the filament is lighting up, just from the current trying to escape the filament, it actually does cause it to illuminate to full intensity and nearly burns the bulb out. It feels like a pressure pushing on your hand. So biological organisms experience the force coming off this thing as a pressure, whereas inanimate objects experience an attractive force towards the bulb.
So he passed.
I don't know if that's him. It looks an awful lot like him.
God, I hope it's not him. God,
I've heard.
I thought I remember seeing him like back. I remember seeing him in because I was bugging you and
I'm gonna go get my phone and call him. I'm gonna see if he picks up.
I was gonna say,
get him on APEC. Get him on APEC. Get him on APEC. I'm telling you, get him on APEC.
Call him on the phone. Absolutely.
Reteach everyone, because no one's gonna go through your old movies. So you got to get him back on.
Jeremy, weren't you one of the only people that ever spoke to him or filmed him?
And yeah, he is the guy. I remember bugging geez, what's this heck his name? Tim Ventura. I was like, Tim, get him on, get him on.
He worked at NASA Marshall with Whit Brantley and a lot of these other guys in the advanced concepts office and the Podkletnov stuff.
And I'm telling you, because this is what happens. So forced resonance all balances with the spring constant. And then when you tap it into Coulomb's constant, right? Because you're working with electrostatics, the electrostatic one wire systems. You're working with perturbations, and then you're working with scalar fields. And when you're within the manipulation of the field antenna, the field itself, you are within its construct. So therefore, the light that's being emitted from the filament with the vibrational frequency is transmitting at like a cold neutrino light. I believe that's what Bob Greener called it. And the understanding is it's faster than light because it perturbates. It expands and contracts instead of just creating like spiral vortex.
Light's traveling at light speed, but when it hits the atom and interacts with the atom, it no longer travels at light speed. There's a refraction in the index of like the electronic structure of the cloud.
Within the medium, yeah.
And that changes the velocity. And if you do everything by velocity, you can get like Schrodinger and some of these other things to come out without the need for the time differential equation.
And you know what? I had some weird things happen to me, and I'm telling you right now, that was the key that they really wanted. Like it was hard to explain. Like this is the focus. You have to have this perturbation, this force resonance is created by the spring constant within the field antenna, and the only way you can get that is through a one wire circuit and a one wire field antenna in area, and this creates the field that instead of being like a complete dipole, it's kind of like coming back into itself. It's like it's a little different because it's electrostatic. It's hard to explain.
Well, he's got books on it. I mean, Frank Narczyk has a book. He wrote a book.
I'm just comparing what Frank did with what I've researched. That's all.
I believe I have a signed copy of it somewhere. But yeah, damn it. I hope he's not dead, man. I gotta, God.
Oh, no fucking doubt, dude. I'll be crying if he's fucking dead because I want him on APEC.
Yeah. Because
I want him on
crazy.
APEC.
It's like I meet so many people over the years that, like I'd lost touch with, that I could probably reach out to him, but it's been years, you know what I mean? That was like so long ago. That was one of the early ones, and it just didn't gain traction in the scientific community and elsewhere. So I kind of just put it by the wayside. And
dude, I'm telling you, the field antenna matches his math. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. Tesla's one wire circuit and his one wire antenna matches the math.
Jack Sarfati would come on and tell you you're a schmuck and you're wrong, and he's gonna.
Well, I could just be like, okay, here, man, here's the engineering,
maybe
physics, the shit out of it.
I'm just saying I'm speaking words. Someone maybe Frank.
We have to have Sarfati on for a whole different episode, and to actually like get the info out of him that he admits he worked on MK Ultra, so we need to grill him on that and get as much out as possible. And then he also just published a video last night about the hitchhiker effect, and that's a very credible one. Walter Bosley goes into, and several in this community have experienced when they activate large enough fields or energy systems that that it's a serious thing. That, well, let's see what the Schmuckinator has to say on it while we can. Right?
I actually have a couple of stuff on him.
I don't know. He's probably
notes. I actually have some of them on the drive if you want me to share some of them. Like I have the actual quantum transition his paper on that.
All right, you can share your screen.
All right, yeah. Just give me a minute. I gotta find it.
What's up, Faustino?
What's up, guys?
Albert, what's going on? It's Friday night. My wife wants me to go hang out with her, and I'm probably gonna get off the stream soon. But
darn.
Thanks for jumping in. What's going on? Anything you got to share? Are you a whistleblower?
No, nothing. I just want to know about your opinion on all about this guy, Elizondo.
Oh, I've been talking about him quite a bit. If you want to hear my opinion, go on X and look up some of the spaces that Tupa and Red Panda Koala have done. So Red Panda Koala.
Yeah, I followed those guys already.
Yeah.
You've been on before, right? You're from Mexico, and that you did a presentation with me on the monatomics and stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah, electroculture and pyramids.
Yeah, the pyramids and the electroculture, and that you've also seen a bunch of like orbs or UFOs in Mexico around the pyramids. Is that correct? Or around the coastline?
Oh, yeah, around the coastline. Actually, here where I live, it's common to see UFOs, and we got more than 20 videos of orbs or fleets around the coast.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of spaces with Tupacabra and a lot of the other guys on Twitter that are big into UFOs and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's been shared around, Oh, there's Pal Putoff and Lou and Amy talking about them and how they were evil and stuff right before she was killed. Like, this is a video that I
if those mother truckers fucking harmed her, that'd be awful.
That's pretty crazy that, like just the scientists that have been, mysteriously, we've known so many of them that are no longer with. It's crazy.
Who do you think actually harmed her?
Well, I won't get into my personal like thoughts on this because
that's understandable.
I just don't, I've talked to her father, right, and the family, and they said that she was taking some medications. I know that she was on medications. Mark knows, he dated her, so knows some of the medications she was on, and that she was
meds can fuck you up because like it literally messes with your hormones and your neurological.
I asked her, like, where's the gun come from? Did she have access to firearms? And it's like, yes, she did, and that's probably this the family seems to think that it was a suicide, and so I have respect for the family. I won't say anything more public about it than that.
No, that's respectful.
And you know, that's that. And if you don't believe me, go talk to Richard Eskridge down in Huntsville, Alabama, on his, you know, and her surviving family members.
Yeah, I just never heard anything of it.
Any journalist that wants to approach me and get the story, you know, if you're a real journalist and you really want the story,
with all respect,
I've already given the story to Russ Coulthart. I gave Russ Coulthart advance access to this video. I shared it with a few other people after that, and those people were less trustworthy with the tape. Ross did respect the tape, and he said, you know, I decided not to do like a story about it. Because of, you know, after, you know, I said go talk to the, you know, Richard Eskridge. Here's his email. You know, I was going to hold a service for her, and then Richard was going to come on, but like after thinking, I gave him a couple weeks notice, and after really thinking about it, he just said, you know, he didn't want to stir this pot on. He just, like, you know, because there's just too much on the internet with that's going around with you know, who's that lady, Carrie Cassidy of Project Camelot, and you know, she just gets
Camelot.
She's a showboat.
A showboat. Scamelot. Yeah, so she just, I don't know, she makes this stuff up or says whatever, but like she really doesn't know the whole story, and I encourage journalists who are interested. There's been a number of them that I've talked to that have dug into this. There have been a few of them, and I said, yo, you want to get into some real stuff, go cover this Elizondo guy, because Elizondo is just like, it links, there's so much that links up with this guy if you really look at, because I was crazy on Twitter. Mick West made this comment. He said there's no link between, you know, 9/11 and UFOs, or there's no link between you know, JFK and UFOs, or 9/11 and UFOs. You know, he made some tweet like that. I remember this. Probably find it if you really look for it and dig. But and I had pointed out there, you know, Battelle is, I think, a link between, you know, these all, because, you know, Battelle had the patents on the nanothermite cutter charges stuff. Battelle was involved with
have you looked at Battelle's newest
I don't think Battelle
release on his website?
Battelle's connected to the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, you definitely, before you shut this off, Jeremy, have to cover the Battelle leak with the Tic Tac info.
But we're going to cover this. Yes, no. Before I shut it down, let's get into that. And why don't you present on that? And can you take the floor on that for a little bit and show read that article and show that off?
I wish I could, but my computer is super glitchy and freezes anytime I try to share it currently.
I can do that. Where is that article? Can someone post a link in the private chat so I can bring that up?
Which one do you want?
The one on this. Well, I just want the original post of or any links to this new whistleblower, this new guy that came out on was it Reddit or 4chan?
4chan, I believe it was.
There's this new guy that came forward with some information about the, you know, he says Tom Bearden is like the science that they covered up.
Wow,
but that doesn't make sense. That I mean, Tom Bearden was one of the early guys. He might have been involved with some of that stuff, but again, Tom Bearden,
Bigelow Aerospace leaker, I guess is what to look up. Bigelow Aerospace leaker.
I had David Chester look at Tom Bearden stuff. So they said, you know, and one of the things they mentioned is, the theoretical physicists have, like, you know, missed all this physics and stuff, you know. So we actually have physics from the fringe is if you look up Dave Chester, Tom Bearden in this episode, and there's a bunch of links in there to the paper, and then again there's some papers in here too. But I guess David Chester has a more recent one where he really goes through like all the math on this. And we briefly go through some of the stuff on this this thing. Again, it's a 2-hour thing, but I could have them back on again if people are really interested in going down the whole Tom Bearden, you know, alt physics rabbit hole. with us, but we've really looked through this one, and I hate to say it, whoever this guy is, but that is not. I don't know. It's Tom Bearden's cool when you're first getting into this and learning about some of these extended electrodynamics and but there's a lot more to that whole field than just that, and I encourage you to check out why is this getting
and Dave is wizard. Like I've sent him stuff and he's looked it over, and I respect him for doing that. Like Dave is wizard. If you guys have to have an idea, you have something you need to talk to him about, you know what I mean? Like I explained to him the engineering. I didn't get to the Eric Dollard stuff.
Please don't bog him down with like a lot of he's a very hardworking guy.
I won't. I'm not that guy.
And again, come to me with the idea first. And if I don't know and I can't tell you this bullshit, I go to Dave. I usually go to Dave or other guys like this. But yeah, David Chester.
Yeah, like when I was trying to explain to him the like how Eric Dollard was explaining stuff, and I was just like, could you find out what this is? Like, what is he explaining to us? This is in a physics a perspective, and I remember him like dropping a couple comments about like how this and that worked out and how the dielectric field really was and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a great guy. He's a good person.
Well, I would encourage people check out Nathan Innan's Unlab. The Unlab is great if you're into the advanced physics stuff. Definitely check out the Unlab and watch Nathan Innan's presentations on both the Unlab and his Estes Park presentation. And Nathan Innan goes in and the whole into the deep on the physics. If you really want to get into the core physics of a lot of this gravitational waves, gravity stuff, and Nathan Innan's presentation and David Chester is like top-notch, deep level physics on this stuff. So I don't know. Again, let's get to that private chat link. It's probably here now.
Put the video and then the UAPdrop.com link article, I guess.
This is wow. Leaked Bigelow Aerospace documents unveil insider claims and alleged UFO gatekeepers. Well, if there was ever a gatekeeper, I think it was Tom Bearden, because Tom Bearden got a hold of, Stephen Greer and the Orion project and pretty much mastered that whole program. Had all of them convinced that he was legit because he had an army of like these harassment bots that worked with Tom Bearden. So as soon as Stephen Greer got in touch with Tom Bearden, immediately all these people started like calling him on the phone and harassing him and being like, stay away, don't get close to this, and you're getting way too close to the truth now, right?
Yeah, you're getting too close to all the magnetic secrets, and then you still don't know the dielectric secrets. It's funny.
It's weird, yeah. It's like Tom Bearden. Like the more I look at him in retrospect, I think he was like a honeypot in a lot of these sense, because they literally put this guy out there, had him saying a lot of the right stuff, but not like mixing a lot of it up, and he sounded like.
That's the thing, though. Like, if you actually watch Eric Dollard called him out on all the bullshit and corrected him. That's why I like Eric Dollard.
Yes. Yes,
so much.
Eric Dollard, man.
People don't get like the I really think that he was a plant of some kind, and now looking in retrospect at a lot of the Tom Bearden stuff, because he's been
retard society.
The retard society.
Yeah, it's the retard society. Like a retard, like noun and a verb.
Retard.
A retard, yeah.
Well, that's hilarious. But this
Do we listen a bit, like a few minutes?
Let's read this. The land,
the video.
Yeah, let's listen. You have something to play or turn Earth?
Well, yeah,
I think
actually,
the video's right there, right in front of me. Or the link's also in the private chat to the video.
So yeah, I did want to share the one document that you were talking about with Frank Zdarsik there, the quantum connection and the elastic limit.
All right.
It's open access, right?
You got the floor.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just bringing this document up wrong, like where he's explaining how Coulomb's constant with the elastic constant. It was able to find out the actual frequency of all the atoms. So like even like all the elements, and if you go through his books and stuff, it's really fascinating. He was able to pretty much, from my understanding through all these mathematics, that he was able to use the Coulomb constant and like I said, the force resonant constant, and which is the elastic constant, and you were able to create, so the mathematics match the same as the circuits from, I wish I could just draw this up, but I don't know the actual the physicist's name right now off the top of my head. He did all right, anyways, so regardless, the elastic constant was like I explained to you, was the spring constant, and that was I believe, what were you, oh darn, it's been so long I can't recall exactly what he said. Like I have his books and everything, I've just forgotten everything that I know anymore. It's been so long. Matter waves, right? So duality of matter waves, that's right. That's what I was thinking of. You know what, dude? I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I've had fucking 8 tall boys. I can't think right now.
That's all right, man. Hey, it's
I'm just totally fried right now.
I kind of want to wrap this up anyways.
Very cool.
It's a late stream and it's time for me to go to bed.
Yeah, I know it's way past my bedtime.
Again, I'd be very skeptical of this. What do you guys think? Do you think this is legit, this new claim? He's saying a lot of the right stuff, but he's getting a lot of it wrong, man.
No, yeah, I'm totally drunk. That's because I'm falling.
I see this, it's so close to the right thing, but it's not the right thing, and it's like it's basically a scoop. It's like they're trying to again distract and take attention away from the source.
What's the source?
The fact that it's was posted on 4chan gives it a little bit, maybe, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to do a full episode digging into it, and yeah, guess we'll wrap up here then and just look into it, do a follow-up episode on it, because there is some interesting
am I the only one here that's not completely messed up on something right now, or what?
Yeah, probably, Jeremiah. You're the only straightforward.
I'm straightforward, so I'm just listening, and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I got a delivery here. I just want to show off before I end this real quick. One of my early birthday presents. Oh, is it reversed on my screen?
No, it's good. That's hilarious.
No, that's great, dude. Oh yeah, this is
magic.
Wizard
doesn't know you had in a way. You don't understand.
That is hilarious. That's very funny. Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Dude, I love your hat, dude. I love that hat.
The coolest present was Simon's quasi crystal magnet thing. I'm gonna paint these, and this is like gonna be my favorite, of all. This is.
Oh yeah, in terms of fidget toys, it's up there.
Has anyone actually done those crystal voltaic piles? Because I was gonna make some and send some to Jeremy. Anyone? The Hutchinson voltaic piles?
I don't believe I've.
Or Hutchinson batteries.
No, but if you know how to make them, like you should just tell me everything that goes in them so that I can make one.
Oh, I was just gonna make it just like she said.
Oh, are you talking about the crystal batteries?
Those ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'm working on something far better that's going to use very similar materials, but it'll be a resonant system instead of just sitting there producing DC power. And what I'm hoping to do is squeeze the entire technology down to something about the size of a AA battery that just simply never goes dead.
Oh, fuck yeah. Well, Jesus Christ, we've been haven't talked so long. It's hilarious.
And now, like, my wife's searching for alien scientist stuff on and getting all this weird stuff that comes back and buying it. I'm like, dude, I gotta sue these people for royalties. I'm the one who came up with this crap first. Like, what the hell is this?
Is that your back? Is that your back?
I wish. Hold on, that guy.
Oh, shit, you're a sexy beast, man. You're a sexy beast.
I won't even show the other one on screen. Like,
oh yeah, you got it
on Amazon if you search for it. But and I was reading it, and it's like, oh my god, it's the most crazy. Like, yeah, dude, it was I won't even talk. I can't even talk about it. I without even getting into detail about the book.
The stream shut down.
Yeah.
Start looking. Okay, forget it. Yeah. I thought it was okay.
No, it's kind of okay. It's like tentacle porn.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, wow.
Really weird stuff, man. It was like a whole
Japanese. I get you.
Hashtag alien scientist.
The author's name is the first name is Sophia. I'll just give you that.
That sounds about
right. But yeah, this has been quite a year for my book collection. Oh God, like I got to get back into signed copies of these collectible ones. I told you I got the book of a book by William Joseph Bryan, who's the MK Ultra scientist who allegedly programmed Sirhan to kill RFK. And I got the book in the mail as a collector's edition, like 74 of 250 of like the initial pre-release of the book. And it was it's signed by the fucking guy. It's like,
so
how is kind of messed up.
I forgot to mention too, I have Frank Sidarsik's first book. I can actually get that for you sometime.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for another awesome year, and look forward to many more with y'all. Great community here, and we've had so much fun battling this disclosure for the past year. That there's been all these fraud channels that kind of grew up and took over the narrative, and you watched how like the truth got shadow banned, and they really pushed a lot of the disinfo hard. And there were even people out there saying that I was the disinfo because I was talking out about the heroes, and they were like, how could this guy attack Lou? He must be the disinfo, and Lou was calling me disinfo, and not
sucked your ass when he actually talked to you. Remember that?
Yeah, huh? I
yes,
could have been so much more rude with him,
Mm-hmm.
man. Like I could have said
I
so
belleth to you.
Dude, I could have said so much more to that guy, and I just we're winning the fight, dude. It's a slow war, but we're winning slowly. It's gonna come around. The time's gonna come. I'm gonna talk to Dan's got a producer that gets a lot of these speaking presentations. I'm gonna talk to more universities. I'm gonna get more these talks at universities, because university kids, college kids need to be hearing this kind of stuff, not the crap that Lou's recycling, 7th grade lecture on the pale blue dot and a brief history of time. No, we need something real, and I don't think they can control it anymore. We're having I think that was the CIA's attempt to get ahead of the narrative and obviously insert someone directly from the deep state, because you make all these comments like that there's no connection between. I said Battel's kind of this connection, but it doesn't connect to JFK. It connects to all this other stuff. But Lou, literally, his dad was Bay of Pigs. JFK assassination related, you know, the same kind of team, the assassinations team, were all these anti-Castro Cuban guys and of Interpen and Operation Mongoose, right? And so Lou's dad right there grows up in this Cuban environment, becomes the torture czar at Guantanamo, also connected to COVID, because like, I mean, he's connected to biological warfare operations and the whole anthrax thing, right? Not directly COVID, but the anthrax thing, which is kind of like pre-COVID. And then, man, he's now connected to the UFO file. Like, that's who this guy is. UFOs, JFK, 9/11, all wrapped in one dude.
Counterintelligence guy.
He is counterintelligence guy, and this guy was literally selected because of the damage that this channel's done. Because he's literally the antithesis of everything we've been working to expose, right?
And he knew you by name directly.
It's literally like I created a portal and summoned a demon from hell, and he came out. He came out of that pit, and we're gonna send him right the fuck back. Yes, thank you all. And Lou, get fucking bent, dude. Jesus Christ, what are you thinking? You're gonna get arrested. You keep this up. Like, no one's gonna buy it again, dude. It's like the boy who cried wolf 3 times, dude. They say once is a coincidence, twice is happenstance, but 3 times, bro, that's enemy action. Get the fuck out. Sing us a tune. No, I can't, guys. It's too late, and I wish I could.
Oh, come on.
Gotta record more of those.
Sorry.
Next time. Much love.
Next time. It's too late here. It's literally like 1 a.m, man. And, you know, I'm
just teasing you, bro.
My neighbors, man. We've had a lot of, you know, it's rainy out. Everyone's sleepy. It's not a party night. It's a sleepy night. So.
You have a newborn, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I have a newborn, and he is sleeping. Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So,
let you know. Have a good night.
Thanks. You guys too. Peace out,
bro.
Have a good night.
And stream.